All right, let me start you off with a topic. If you know what you want to talk about, get in here. I hate to do it to you, Chicago. I hate it. But then again, it's nothing that you're not already used to, right? You know just as well as I know that the more things change with the Bears, the more they stay exactly the same. Bears fan knows that they've seen pretty much the same game over and over and over and over again. Bears fans know that nobody snatches defeat from the jaws of victory quite like the Bears do. Even the Ravens were watching that game last night like, damn, dudes, this bleep should have been over in the third quarter. It just feels extra cruel this time for a Bears fan because the hope was so real. The hope was so real after that first drive. But then the ending was so typical. The hope was so real and the ending was so predictable. The sound at Soldier Field for that opening drive was incredible. I'm not sure I have ever seen or heard anything like that from that building. Not in decades. When Caleb completed that laser beam up the sideline to my guy Roma Dunze on that opening drive, Bears fans were actually foaming at the mouth.
Carter at left tackle. On third down, Williams has to get out. Looking downfield, and Dunze. He caught it. First down, Chicago.
I mean, Bears fan at that point is freaking delirious. You would think that that was the biggest play in franchise history. Then Caleb runs in that touchdown, and the entire joint is straight up rejoicing. It was like a freaking revival, a football resurrection. It was like that drive. And that touchdown just provided hope and joy and harmony to the entire universe, or at least a Bears fan. But then KOC and JJ, and Brian Flores and the Vikings collectively were like, Yo, JJ, what's good? JJ, what's good, my dude?
You're not that good.
You are that good, JJ. That's a thing.
What's good, baby?
JJ, you are that good. Man, what a ride that was. What a roller coaster that was. Man, that was so impressive. Honestly, that was so impressive to see that from that dude in his debut, on the road, in prime time, in an extremely hostile environment. And he completely flips the script in that game, and he brings the Vikings all the way back when nothing had been going right. When you consider the pressure and the situation, that really had to be one of the more impressive debuts you're ever going to see in that league. Which is wild because for more than half that game, this dude looked completely overwhelmed by the moment. The moment was way too big for him. The first half was pretty much a disaster on offense for Minnesota. Then the game seemed cooked when JJ came out for the second half and then immediately did this.
One. They just got it away on third and long. Watch out. Picked off. There's Wright down the sideline. Gets a block. And now a touchdown. The former Vikings.
Uh-oh. I mean, that's what all of Vikings Nation was saying right about then. That's what the entire internet was saying right about then. The lava pigs were out in full force, going full Carl Lewis. You know, doing what lava pigs do. He's a bust. What were they doing? Should have brought in Aaron. Why did they ever think this guy could do that? You know, like this guy's career was already over. One half into it. Early in the third quarter of his debut, and he's already an all-time bust, at least according to social media. Thankfully, everyone on social media is constantly wrong about everything, including this, because from that moment on, JJ locked in. And somehow from that moment on, the Bears started to unravel. And then all of a sudden, the story went from how much JJ was struggling to how much Caleb was struggling. Question then is, was it Caleb or was it Brian Flores? And as always, the answer is yes. Clearly, Brian Flores adjusted to what Caleb and Ben Johnson were doing early on. But where was the alleged genius Johnson to adjust back to what Flores starting to do to him and his quarterback? So maybe we wait just a little bit longer before we just anoint Johnson a bona fide genius. Maybe we wait a little bit longer before we anoint Caleb immortal. Because the fact of the matter is, the dude just missed so many throws. He missed so many throws in the second half that he has to make, period. I mean, for one drive, Caleb looked like a brand new quarterback. But in the second half, he looked like the same exact quarterback that he was last year. It was almost like watching regression in real time. Like, how the hell did he miss a wide ass open DJ Moore late in that game, when he would have walked right into the end zone and given them additional time on the clock to use for a potential comeback? I mean, sure, they scored after that, but they should have scored before that because they needed that time. What I'm saying is, Caleb definitely did not look generational last night. Caleb is not Jaden Daniels. Caleb, hell, he wasn't even JJ McCarthy last night. He wasn't even better than JJ, who was making his first career start on the road in prime time. Once again, in a really hostile environment. And then to make matters even worse was Caleb on the game radio broadcast, postgame, saying essentially the last thing that any Bears fan ever wants to hear. Check this out. Quote, on the postgame show, quote, everybody's focus kind of went away, adding, quote, we got to finish games, end of quote. That's Caleb Williams. After the game, everybody's focus went away? Everybody? How? It's week 1. It's Monday Night Football. It's the debut of your new hotshot head coach. It's a divisional rival. It's in your house. Every eye in the world is on you and your teammates. All of your peers around the league want to see how it's going to look. The new look you. The new look Vikings. How can you possibly say everybody's focus went away if you can't focus for that game with a lead in the second half, double digits after a pick six? When are you going to focus? What the hell kind of statement is that? We lost our focus? You spent the entire offseason in camp getting ready for that game, and you just lose focus? How? And back to Johnson for a minute, because he didn't look like a genius last night. He had that genius red ass going, but he didn't look like a genius last night. You know what he looked like? A dude head coaching for the first time in his life. He looked like a dude who has a ways to go to catch up to a guy like KOC. He looked like a guy coaching a team that completely lost focus and blew an 11-point second half lead and assumed the game was over. Hey, by the way, did you know that no quarterback has ever led a 10-plus point fourth quarter comeback on the road in their debut until last night? JJ did something that had never been done before. Steve Young led a 10-point fourth quarter comeback in his debut back in '85, but that was at home. JJ did it in the Bears' house in prime time. Incredible. When he had nothing going right. Listen, I'm not saying that this dude is generational. I'm not saying that this dude looks like the next Josh Allen. I said that Caleb does not look like a generational talent. And frankly, neither does JJ. I'm not saying that. But I'll tell you what that dude does look like. He looks like a freaking winner. Tough as hell, composed as hell, great leader, and a winner. His track record backs that up. Check this out. According to Sporting News, JJ McCarthy, 36-2 in high school, 27-1 in college, 1-0 in the NFL. In other words, all this guy does is win, 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 win,
Win!
And when you see the way this dude kept it together and rally everybody, even after that terrible half, and then on the flip side, you see Caleb unravel the way he did. Yet JJ holds it together after a terrible pick six. Couldn't have telegraphed that pass any worse than he did. You start to see why this guy is a natural-born winner. And even if you don't believe in things like natural-born winners, he made himself a winner. Either way, he's a winner. And if you listen to the Vikings, a major turning point last night was JJ getting in the huddle when they trailed 17-6 and looking everybody in the eye as a young player making his first start and then asking, where would you rather be? I mean, it seems cheesy, right? I'm surprised he didn't go with the, who's got it better than us?
Nobody!
Where would you rather be? Except it worked. It worked. Even Justin Jefferson said it juiced the huddle up. Aaron Jones said that moment made him realize how special and how different JJ is mentally. I mean, these are hardcore vets. Hardcore vets and some of the best in the game. Pretty hard to argue with any of that, though, when he says that in the huddle down 17-6. Cheesy to say it and then get your ass kicked, but incredible to say it when you say it and then you go out and you have 3 TDs in the fourth quarter and you lead the comeback, including running it in himself for the go-ahead score.
Thielen in motion. McCarthy keeps. He's got it. And forces his way into the end zone.
That's exactly
touchdown.
what I thought when I saw that. One stud, but what I really thought, what really went through my head when I saw that was James Kelly. Freaking James Kelly in my head. Thinking 2 things about Kelly. 1, jerk. He was right. He's going to win the bet. 2, man, does he hate Dennis Allen. Man, he's killing Dennis Allen right now. He so badly wants to blow up my phone, but he won't out of respect. Man, tough time for Dennis Allen to remember he's Dennis Allen when he got off to a good start. Yeah, did anybody really think Dennis Allen was going to outcoach Brian Flores? Come on. Did anybody really think that Ben Johnson was going to outcoach KOC? Come on. But you know what, though? I'll tell you what I did think. I really, really did think that Caleb Williams was going to outplay JJ McCarthy. And I was really, really wrong about that. And that's got to be really, really alarming to Bears fan. Caleb should not be getting clearly outplayed in his own house by a dude making his NFL debut. And again, the real issue to me that's really concerning is that Caleb did unravel. He did regress. He did get back to playing hero ball. He did get back to making those same mistakes. JJ kept his head and leveled up. That was the difference. JJ kept his composure. Caleb did not, even though JJ was the one who had every reason to panic. And Caleb had a big second half lead and plenty of momentum. And yet somehow he and the Bears lost their focus? Tell you what, dude. Bad enough that it happened. Even worse to admit it. Not that we didn't already know it. Not that you didn't tell us something we didn't already know, but you're only punctuating the point that it happened. And how did Mr. Intensity, Ben Johnson, let that happen? Oh, I know. First game as head coach. Maybe dude is not Vince Lombardi already. So now they're 0-1, and the honeymoon's already over. And meanwhile, me and these Vikings, because I know that's coming. Me and these Vikings essentially look like we and they picked up right where they left off. KOC is still a total stud. Total stud. Brian Flores is still a big pain in the ass for anybody to have to deal with. And JJ McCarthy looks like he can essentially do maybe what Sam Darnold did. The question now is, what is the ceiling? I know this. You got a bunch of vets who may have had questions about the kid. They probably have a totally different feeling and view of that kid right now. And I'll say it was a lot easier to doubt that dude before last night. I had my own questions about him before last night. I'm not saying that there's your rookie of the year. I'm not saying he's going to lead them to a divisional title. What I'm saying is what I saw was really, really impressive. Really impressive. Like I always say, the more things change, the more they stay exactly the same. Chicago. I want to say that just can't happen, but it did, like it always does. And for the moment, nothing has changed for you or for the Vikings. One thing to say that Caleb isn't Jaden Daniels. Quite another thing to say that he's not JJ McCarthy. I don't know. Maybe he is. Maybe he's not. He sure as hell wasn't last night. Not when it mattered. That game was incredible, the way it flipped. I'm telling you, I looked down, I looked up, I looked down, good, won that game. Talk low junk to James Kelly. Look down, look at, wait, what? The hell just happened? They lost focus. You can't lose focus. Look, I know a lot of things happen in that league. That can't happen. Not to that team, not to that quarterback, not to that coach, not at home, not in prime time. And you can't have that first-time starting quarterback do that the way he did to you. Unbelievable. And my man, Dennis Allen, that doesn't reflect well on you either. Doesn't reflect well on any of them because they all lost focus.